Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Hard sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Monday, December 4th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Going pretty well.
Weekend was up and down on my picks. On Friday, I was 4-5. Went 1-1 in college football, 1-1 in the NBA. Was terrible in hockey, and I went 1-3 in college basketball. So then Saturday, college football, I was terrible. I went 0-3 because I had Georgia at the -5. Alabama beat them. I had Iowa at the +22, which I thought Michigan would win the game, but I figured Iowa would cover because I thought 22 was just way too many. But I was wrong on that. Iowa couldn't even get past the 50-yard line. And I had Louisville at the +2.5, and of course, Florida State won that. Then NFL yesterday, I was 3-1. Only game I had wrong yesterday was the Steelers against the Cardinals. I had the Steelers, and of course, their quarterback got hurt, and after that, they seemed like they got handled pretty well.
I didn't do too bad. I went 10-6 for the weekend, so I didn't do too bad. I went 3-1 on my NFL picks, and on my hockey. Overall, with Friday and Saturday, I went 2-2. NBA went 2-1, and college football went 2-2 with Friday and Saturday's picks. So I didn't do too bad. 10-6 is not terrible.
Better weekend than what I had. I was 7-9.
Chris,
the whole weekend.
If you was naming the MVP right now, who would you name? For NFL.
MVP. I'd have Brock Purdy as the MVP right now. Either him or Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey. Them would be my three. Them would be my top three right now.
Right now,
but a quarterback usually gets it.
Yeah.
So I would say Purdy. I think if you go by out of the quarterbacks, I think Purdy's been
quarterback. He's strong as anybody. I think it should be McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's been the most consistent player for the most part of every game. He's already got like 17 or 18 touchdowns. He's on a pace. He might get 25 or 26 touchdowns this year. He does it catching the ball, does it running.
How's it going, Glenn? How's it going, Don? Hey, how's it going, Billy? Billy says Purdy as well.
I agree with quarterback-wise. I think it would be Purdy. But right now, I think McCaffrey is the best football player in football right now. That's just my opinion. But I like Purdy
McCaffrey's
too.
Up there, but Tyreek's been real consistent as well. I mean, if you look, and he's had
a couple of games where
but he's probably going to be over.
Oh yeah,
He's probably gonna have over 2,000 yards receiving. That's never been done.
That's true too.
I mean, that's why I think he has to be up there because he's been pretty consistent for most of the year.
Yeah.
I hear people saying Dak as quarterback.
Get it.
I don't know how you put Dak over Purdy. They don't. For one, the 49ers dominated the Cowboys.
If he wants to get in the conversation,
and then look what Purdy just did against the Eagles. And even the game, did he struggle a little bit? Them 3 games they lost, but he had his team in position to win a couple of those games and miss field goals. So I mean, it's not like they just fell completely off the face of the earth. And what teams haven't lost? I mean, how many undefeated teams are there in the NFL this year?
I don't think any. Till Dak gets a big win, let's beat Philadelphia and him have a great game, and then we'll talk. He hasn't beat. I mean, he's beat one team with a 500 over record, and that was Seattle last week, and they got lucky to do that. So I mean, I'm not saying he's not playing well, but he needs some big wins. Until he gets some big wins, I don't think he should even be in the conversation. Could it be considered? Yes, but he's got to beat somebody. If they, like I said, if they beat Philadelphia and he plays a great game, then I think he should be talked about. But until he does that, I don't see it.
Yeah, and if according to their odds, they showed Purdy moved up to the favorite to win MVP. I haven't looked at the odds yet.
They said he was 3-1.
I haven't. To be honest, I haven't looked at the odds on that. I'll look them up real quick. Billy says Dak is a bum, laughing out loud. And I think if I remember correctly, Billy's a Cowboys fan.
He is.
If I remember correctly, Billy's a Cowboys fan. And Dak's had a good year. Probably one of his best. Probably one of his best years he's had, especially here recently. I mean, last year he turned the ball over a lot. He's not throwing interceptions this year, so nothing against Dak. He has had a good year. But I think if you talking MVP and you look at everybody, I don't see how you would have him. I wouldn't have him ahead of Purdy. And the only reason I think a lot of people don't want to, a lot of these guys on TV, one of them we just heard, don't want to give Purdy. The only reason they don't want to say Purdy's the MVP is because he was the last pick in the draft. If Purdy was a first round draft pick, it wouldn't even be that big of a conversation right now.
Nope, I agree. I agree with you.
But since Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant,
well, doesn't Dak have a pretty good wide receiver too on his team? Probably a top 5 wide receiver on his team. Probably a top 10 running back on his team.
Well, that's my thing. Everybody wants to try to hold the weapons on the team against Purdy. We don't do that with any other quarterback. You know what I've been hearing all morning and all last night after the Chiefs got beat? They need to get Patrick Mahomes some help. So the guy that's supposed to be the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen, he don't have enough help. But we're going to hold it against the guy that the team has put players around him. But make you know what I mean? You can't use that. You can't use the argument that he has too much help, and then try to say that these other guys don't have enough help. That's not.
This team pretty much the team they had last year, the won the Super Bowl for the most part. Schuster left.
I mean, they've lost a couple of receivers, but yeah.
Schuster. Schuster wasn't a guy that was Schuster's not a top tier wide receiver. I mean, I know he's gone.
Well, last year they didn't. The receivers wasn't dropping the ball like they are this year. I will say that. The receivers have hurt them this year. They have, but that's not the only reason that they've lost. Their defense didn't play very good last night.
They haven't won a game.
They've had one of the best defenses in the league most of the year. They didn't look like one of the best defenses in the league last night. Green Bay was able to score on them most of that game. And Green Bay led the whole game.
Every game that they've lost, they've given up more than 20 points. Any game they've given up less than 20 points, they've won.
Yeah, that's going.
And Mahomes made a couple bad throws last night. Made a couple bad throws and got intercepted. That's going to happen though when you're throwing the ball so much. You're going to make some bad throws. Let's talk about
on the real quick on FanDuel. They have Prescott as the favorite to win the MVP, plus 300. Whatever book they were looking at, which was probably, I would say, Fox Sports Bet or whatever, because since it's on Fox, but they were showing Purdy as the favorite, but on here they got Purdy as the third, tied for second with Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation. They got Dak at plus 300, and they got Hurts and Purdy both at plus 350. They got Mahomes at plus 600, Tua at plus 800, and then Lamar at plus 800. So they don't even have a non-quarterback in the top 6. They have Tyreek Hill as the 7th favorite, C.J. Stroud as the 8th favorite, and then Christian McCaffrey right behind C.J. Stroud.
Houston got a big loss yesterday with I think they won the game, but a big loss with losing that receiver. Dell really been playing well for him, and him getting hurt and probably done for the season. I think he broke something, so I think he's done for the year.
Oh yeah, he broke a leg,
so he's done for the year, and that's really going to hurt them. I think.
Good thing for Houston is though they do have quite a few good young receivers. Yeah. So I think one of them younger guys will be able to step up and help them. But yeah, Dell has played. They've had a lot of rookies play real good this year. They done great in the draft last year, man.
They did.
You look at Anderson, of course, Stroud, Stingley, I believe his name, had a couple interceptions yesterday. Dell. I mean, they've had a lot of rookies really contribute. Hey, a rookie head coach. I mean, they've had a lot.
They got a good team. What do you think about the penalties last night in that game? We got to watch that end of that game with Kansas City. I thought that the 2 penalties, the 1 penalty got called against Green Bay,
should have been
out of bounds, shouldn't have been called, and I think it was a makeup call when they didn't call that pass interference on the 50-yard play or whatever that was. I think it was a makeup call.
Oh, I agree. And everybody wants to talk about just that pass interference call. Was it pass interference? Yeah, it was pass interference. But I believe it was a makeup call because they shouldn't have got the 15-yard for that personal foul because that was clearly inbounds. But also after that pass interference call, I'm trying to remember who had the ball for Kansas City, but they're trying to get out of bounds, and they're going backwards out of bounds. Yep. And by the rule, if you're not going forward out of bounds, the clock's not supposed to stop.
Yep.
That clock, and they stopped the clock there. The clock shouldn't have stopped there, so they gave Kansas City probably 2 more plays.
Yep.
The clock shouldn't have stopped there.
And I didn't have a problem with the pass interference.
He got out of bounds, but by rule, if you go out of bounds going backwards, the clock's not. They're not supposed to stop the clock. Clock's supposed to keep running. So that was another call that went and hey. It was pass interference, and could that have changed the game? Yes, but how many times have we seen Kansas City be the beneficiary of some close calls or calls that maybe shouldn't have been called?
And then the one in the end zone, I think that's I know there was a push there, but
that was a good no call. You don't see that call.
You don't see that call.
And if you watch Travis Kelce didn't get up even complaining about it.
The quarterback in press conference said, "Hey, could that have been pass interference? Maybe they're letting us play. You can't complain."
Well, that's one thing I did. I liked how Mahomes commented on it. Like, he goes, "I'd rather him let my guys play than a flag anyway." But you saw Kelce. He hit the ground. He got up. Game was over. He wasn't yelling for a flag or nothing. I mean,
you don't get that call very often.
Yeah, you don't see a flag on them Hail Mary plays very often at all. And if there would have been a flag, people would have been going crazy about Kansas City getting special treatment on that wouldn't have been called for other teams. So it goes both ways. I've been on it all year. I thought 49ers the best team in football, but you think they proved it with that win over Philadelphia last night?
Yeah, I think they sent a message, but
I know it's only one game and it's week 13.
Yeah,
but I mean not.
Well, I thought going into the season, I thought San Francisco was the best team last year. Until to what happened. That was just my opinion. So we'll see if they can stay healthy. See what happens. This deal that happened right here is a joke.
He shouldn't have got ejected. Like the guy put the coach gave him a little bit of a shove first, and
that's not a coach.
Or no, it's security guy.
He has no business even being there doing that.
Yeah, it's the security guy, and then he touched the player first with a little shove, and all Greenlaw did. It wasn't like he punched him.
That's just he's trying to poke.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if he's trying to.
He
touch
pointed
him,
at him and hit him in the face a little bit.
And I think maybe he tried to hit him in the face.
Yeah,
but my thing is that guy has no business even interjecting himself. He's a security guy. He has no business even doing anything to a player. Yeah. And I think he should be thrown out of that. He shouldn't be allowed on the sideline ever again. That's my opinion. He's not a coach.
Yeah, I didn't think they should. I definitely don't think Greenlaw should have got ejected. Now, if he'd have reared back and punched the guy and knocked him for a loop, maybe. But for that, with that guy touching him first, I don't think he should. I don't think he should have been ejected. I'd kind of be honest with you. I'd like to see I'd like to hear what they're saying about it because
both of them got ejected, right?
Yeah,
even the security guy.
Yeah, they ejected both of them, but I don't think the player should have got ejected. No. Now, if the player would have just started beating the hell out of him, okay, I understand that. But for just poking the guy like that after the guy put his hands on you and he's not a player. I mean, he's part of the Eagles staff or whatever, security. But and if you're a player and it's happening in the heat of the moment, you're seeing a guy in street clothes. Yeah, I mean, he does. Don't get me wrong; he has an Eagles shirt on, but I mean, and he's not in the NFL. He's not in a uniform. And the guy's pushing you. You're going to react. I mean, we saw a player get kicked out last night for punching a guy in that game.
Yep.
And honestly, I didn't feel like he should have got thrown out. I felt like it should have been. I feel like you give him a personal foul, but I didn't like they ejected him because there was a little bit of shoving going back and forth during that play, which was part of the play. Two guys are heated. Should he have swung? No. Give the guy the 15-yard personal foul, which is already going to hurt his team, but ejecting them, which I'm not a big fan of people getting ejected. I hate the college rule where if they call you for targeting, you're done for the rest of the game. I just unless the guy just does now, if a guy does something like Myles Garrett did, you take a guy's helmet off and you
try to beat him
and you whack-a-mole him with it. Okay, you need to get ejected.
Yeah.
But just if a guy just throws a punch like that.
Just a helmet.
Huh?
Just a helmet.
Yeah, but that's a little different. You could kill a guy. You could kill a guy whack-a-mole on him with a helmet.
And did his helmet come off? The quarterback went his helmet off. I think
it was his helmet.
That he beat. Well, he should have lost his helmet. It's his fault.
Yeah, it was his helmet.
Yeah, I knew he lost his helmet. Yeah, it was his helmet. He beat him. If he wouldn't have lost his helmet, he wouldn't have had that.
So he was just trying to give his helmet back.
Trying to get back.
Trying
to put it back on. Yeah. Maybe a little stiff, but he was trying to put it back on. Just trying to help him.
But to me, if it was just a punch like that, especially if both players still have their helmets on, it ain't like that punch is going to hurt that guy. Give him the personal foul and move on. Unless it's just something real egregious, I don't like to see players get ejected. For one, you're out there playing a physical game. You're fired up. It's easy. You're in the heat of battle. It's easy to lose your cool a little bit. So I give them a little more leeway. But now, if you're doing something just so egregious where you could really hurt somebody or something like that, yeah. But I mean, he punched the guy in the side of the helmet. If anything, he's going to hurt his hand.
Yeah.
Which I've never understood. Why you go throw a punch at somebody when they have a helmet on? But we see it happen all the time. No, there was some good games. We didn't get to watch a lot of them yesterday, but it seemed like there were some pretty good games. Got to watch most of the second half of the Sunday night game last night.
Kansas City game.
So we was at a wrestling show. If you missed that, go check that out on our YouTube page. FEW Frontier Elite Wrestling Retaliation. We was there live in Greenfield last night. Good, real solid show.
Yep.
Go check it out.
Yep.
Like I said, on YouTube and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room. What do you think about this college football? That's been the talk the last couple of days. College football playoffs. They announced their top four yesterday, leaving out Florida State.
Personally, I don't like the.
They had Florida State at 5, Georgia at 6, if I remember, correctly.
I personally don't like that they left Florida State out, but I figured it was going to happen. Actually, I thought the Texas was going to get left out and Georgia was going to get in. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be Alabama and Georgia over Texas. So I was surprised by that, honestly.
See, I'm a little bit on the other end of it. I don't have a problem with Florida State getting left out because if you look at the criteria they go by, that they said they were going to go by, they went by it. Now, if they would have the way I would have had a problem that if with them leaving Florida State out would have been if Texas if Texas was left out as well and Alabama was in, or if Alabama would have been 3 and Texas 4. Because then you're not going by your criteria. By the criteria was strength of schedule, then head to head, and then one of the criteria was an injury or something that could drastically affect your performance in the playoffs. They went by the head to head, put Texas ahead of Alabama. So you know what I mean, and then they felt like with the injury that effect is going to affect their performance, which I agree. I think it's going to too. We've seen it the last 2 games. They went from scoring 40 something points a game to 20 points a game. Now they got a good defense. Does it suck for the players? Yes, it sucks for Florida State. But you were going to have a team upset. You're going to have some teams upset no matter what. Now, one thing I do disagree with on the way they ranked the final top 6, and this is going to piss people off, but Florida State should have been 6. If you're going to put Texas ahead of Florida State because of the injury, how is Georgia not ahead of Florida? How is Georgia not ahead of Florida State? Georgia should have been at least 5.
That's true.
I kind of feel Georgia should have been 4 myself. I think it should have been. And me and you've talked about it. But like I said, I wasn't going to be real upset if they put Texas in over Georgia because I think Texas is real good too. But how are you number 1 all year? You lose the 1 game and you fall all the way to 6.
I thought it was going to be Alabama 3 and Georgia 4. Is what I thought.
So I could have seen Georgia at 4. I'm not mad that Texas is at 4, like I said, because hey, Texas does have the win. They beat Alabama. They've beat people convincingly, and that's one thing we talked about with the NFL. Like the Eagles, everybody's talking about how the Eagles is the best team in the NFL up until yesterday. Now I think people are kind of changing that a little bit, but everybody thought that. Oh yeah, I saw that on game day. Glenn McAfee, he got the. Did you see that?
Trolled by Georgia fans?
Or no, McAfee trolled the Georgia fans.
Okay.
But I'll talk about that in a second after I finish this. But with the Eagles, like everybody's talking about how they're was the best team. But if you look at the Eagles, and I told you this last night, if you look at the Eagles this season, last year I would have had the Eagles right there. I didn't have the Eagles as the best team this season because they're finding ways to win games, which is great. You're winning games. But if you look, most of the teams that win Super Bowls, they'll have some blowout wins during the season. There's times where they look dominant. The Eagles haven't looked like that. What the Eagles have looked like this year to me are the Vikings of last year. Winning a bunch of one-possession games, and then what happened with the Vikings? Nobody really believed in them, and then the Vikings ended up losing in the playoffs. I'm not saying the Eagles are going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, but the way the Eagles have been playing this season, I don't see them making a real deep playoff run like they did last year just because I think 49ers are better. I think we've seen the Cowboys play right with them. I mean, there's some teams in the NFC. I think Detroit and the Eagles will be a good game.
Could be.
Detroit is a little up and down. I mean, there's times they look dominant, and there's other times they look.
Well, they jumped all over New Orleans yesterday, and then New Orleans come back and made it a game. So I don't know.
And like Don said, he said the Lions are choke artists. I don't like how Campbell coaches. No way that was supposed to be a game. Yeah, they let him back. They did let him back in the game. But Don thinks the Huskies are going to get smacked.
I'm not so sure by Texas.
I think that's going to be a good game, but the game I want to watch is Alabama and Michigan because I've thought Michigan was the best team throughout the season, but I'll be honest.
Alabama's playing good.
I'll be honest. The way Alabama's playing with the momentum they got, I wouldn't be real surprised if they were able to beat Michigan.
No, I wouldn't be shocked.
Alabama could end up winning it all.
Could. They're playing really good right now. They're peaking at the right time.
Especially if they play if their offensive line and defensive line play like they did against Georgia, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, they knocked Georgia off the ball, and that's something not normally been happening the last 2 or 3 years. What do you think about the Pacers tonight?
And Don, I like that Alabama to win it all. You can get it right now at plus 220. That's pretty good odds, but because I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see that happening. Before we talk about the Pacers, what Glenn was talking about with McAfee, when he was in Georgia, when he was in Georgia a few weeks ago, he was singing that little chant to get the Georgia fans fired up. Who's out on the track? Something. I think you heard that.
Yeah.
Well, on game day, he done all that. And then right afterwards, got the fans all chanted with him, "Go Dogs" and everything. And he said, "Give me Alabama." And they roll tide rolled out of Alabama fans going. But yeah, it was good. I was cracking up when I saw that. I think Pacers are going to win tonight.
Well,
it's a big game.
Is Halliburton going to play? He's quite. I just heard he's questionable.
I figure he's going to play. I haven't.
Well, he's been sick.
I know he didn't play the other night. I figure he's going to play tonight, being in the quarterfinal. I figure he's going to try to play, being in the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament. I know it's a new thing, but Pacers have been good at home. But hey, Celtics are a tough team, so it's not going to be easy. And last time we played the Celtics, they smacked the Pacers. I mean, just to be honest, they did.
Well, they beat us last 2 times. They beat us by a total. Oh, them 2 games together over 51 points.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna definitely watch it tonight. Probably flip back and forth between that and the football game, depending on what the football game looks like with the Bengals and Jags.
Your mom probably make me watch football games, so I probably watch the football game.
I figured you'd be watching Raw.
I think Denny's gonna be here. Uncle Denny's gonna be here, so we'll probably be watching football.
So I figured you'd be watching Monday Night Raw.
I'll watch the 11 o'clock feed. West Coast feed.
But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I know Celtics have beat us pretty good the last couple games. Celtics are a good team. I think being at home helps. Which we'll talk a little bit more about that because that's actually one of my picks too. Getting into the picks, Bengals and Jags NFL tonight. What's your thoughts on this game?
I'm taking the Jags, and I got it at 10 points, -10 is what I've seen it at. Yeah. I think you got to go with the Jags. I think Cincinnati's going to have a hard time scoring points.
Oh yeah, the Jags are 10-point favorites, -500 on the money line. The Bengals are plus 385 on the money line. Over/unders at 38.5. I think the Jags win the game, but I'm taking the Bengals at the +10. I think the Bengals defense is going to be able to slow that Jaguars offense down some. And I think this is going to be kind of a low scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a real high scoring game. I think the Bengals defense is going to be able to do enough to keep it a close game. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals at the +10.
I know what you're saying. What I worry about with Cincinnati, if the offense don't move the ball, the defense will get tired. And I think maybe they still can maybe beat them by 13, 14 points. But we'll see.
All right, NBA tonight. You got the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament. First game is Boston Celtics at the Indiana Pacers. This game starts at 7:30. The Celtics are 5.5-point favorites, -225 on the money line. The Pacers are +188 on the money line. Over/unders at 244. It was at 243.5. It went up a little bit.
I had 241.
I'm taking the Pacers at the +5.5. Because even if Pacers lose, I think this is going to be a close game because I think they're going to come out ready to play. I hope Halliburton plays. Without Halliburton, you never know how we're going to play. We haven't played real well without him, except the other night. What was it, Saturday night? We looked pretty good without him, which is a little bit of a change because usually without him we haven't done well. I think it's important that he plays tonight, but I'm going to take Pacers at +5.5. Man, I was going to take the over. Hell, it's only a half-point difference. I'm still going to take the over to 244 in that game. I think both teams are going to be over 120 points. Then the other game tonight, Pelicans at the Kings. Kings are 3.5-point favorites, minus 156 on the money line. Pelicans are plus 132 on the money line. Over under for this game is at 236.5. I think it's going to be a good game. Pelicans have been playing well, but I like the Kings at home. If this game was in New Orleans, I'd probably take the Pelicans. Almost took the Pelicans in this game, even being on the road. But I like the way the Kings have been playing, especially at home. So I'm going to take the Kings at the minus 3.5.
Okay, my NBA for tonight. I'm taking the Boston and Indiana game over 244, and I've got the Pelicans plus 3.5 at Sacramento, and that's my NBA picks. Every time I pick against the Pelicans, I lose. I'm gonna take this call.
I think it's going to be a good game. Like I said, if it was in New Orleans, I'd probably take the Pelicans. Zion's been playing pretty well since being healthy. But I like De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis and them guys have been doing there with Sacramento. So I think Sacramento's going to get the win in advance tonight. Next, we have NHL. I like 3 games in hockey tonight. I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars on the money line over the Lightning, the Penguins on the money line over the Flyers, and the Coyotes on the money line over the Capitals. That's going to be my 3 picks for hockey. We'll get his hockey picks here in just a minute. Yeah, I went with those 3 games for tonight. And then we'll get I got a couple college basketball games as well.
You already give your hockey?
Yes.
Okay, my NHL for tonight, I got Pittsburgh money line at Philadelphia, Seattle at Montreal. I'll take Montreal money line. I got St. Louis at Vegas. I'll take Vegas money line. That's my NHL for tonight.
College basketball, I didn't like a lot of the games, so I ended up going with 2. I'm going to take Iowa at the plus 12.5 against number 1 Purdue. I took Purdue the other day. After I sit there and called what was going to happen, I said, what always happens when Purdue gets number 1? They lose, but not this time. They're going to beat Northwestern. What they do, they lost to freaking Northwestern on Friday. I think Purdue wins the game, but I think Iowa's going to be able to keep it close. Purdue, I've watched them play a couple games. They just haven't been real impressive. And then I'm going to take North Dakota State at the minus 2.5 against San Jose State.
Yeah, I've got some college basketball. I got 2. I got the Iowa plus 12.5 against Purdue. Yeah, I like the points. And then I've got Maryland Eastern Shore versus East Carolina. I got East Carolina minus 16.5 in that game.
All right, that's all the picks for tonight. Don't have no college football till Saturday. There's 1 game, and I don't think there's any other ones till around Christmas.
Around the 23rd, 24th.
But you have Army and Navy this Saturday.
Yep.
So there'll be 1 college football game this Saturday. Of course, you got NFL on Thursday, and then this weekend. And next week, they start some Saturday games in the NFL because I know the Colts play. That's not this week coming up, but the week after, the Saturday after, the 16th or whatever. The Colts play on Saturday.
Okay.
Against the Steelers. So yeah, they'll start. I think there's 3 games that Saturday. Start on the 16th. So, do you have anything else before we get out of here for today?
I don't think so. We got a show tonight at 6:30. Gonzo's Wrestling Room. Should be a good show. So everybody check that out tonight.
Yeah, join us for that tonight. Like I said earlier, go check out our wrestling show from yesterday, FEW from Terry Elite Wrestling Retaliation. You can find out on YouTube and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room. Real solid show. Join us tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for GWR Gonzo's Wrestling Room. And then we'll be back tomorrow right around 3 o'clock with another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. Enjoy tonight's games, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.